Let me click that button. And then we'll get started. So Scott Reynolds, Vice President here at Benaware. My whole enrollment team is here, on-site enrollers and call center. And then Christina Bell from our team is on here as well. And Jenna from Aon is in attendance too here. So the process that we normally do here is we're going to use the landing page as kind of our resource to review the benefits. Allow the enrollers to ask any questions about the core benefits, and then we'll go into the system and review it. We'll take a look at the schedule, just again, if there's any additional feedback or from the group side or any questions from the enrollers, we can address that here today. And then this recording I'll send out post-enrollment here, and then I usually will do a second training like Friday evening, just a refresher with our team, just with the internal team here, to make sure everyone is ready to go for Monday morning.
Okay.
So, Jenna, would
Sounds
you?
good.
Great. Jenna, would you like to kick us off here? Oh, maybe she's muted. Jenna, are you there?
She might be on mute.
I think she might be muted. Okay, well, we'll see if she comes back. In the meantime, we at Benaware have been asked by Transportation Insight to conduct an on-site and call center enrollment. So we're going to 2 locations. We'll go over the schedule later, but you guys have all had the schedule for some time now, and it's pretty cut and dry. Right? It's pretty clear. Employees have been scheduling appointments with us, and I'll send you the appointments on a nightly basis the night before. So Sunday night, I'll send you Mondays and so on. And they continue to make appointments, so I'll just send them just the night before. Now, I will say that if you have any gaps in your appointments and there are employees that you can see, go ahead and see them. So the objective here is for the 2 on-site locations at least is if they haven't scheduled an appointment, we're still going to see everyone there. Okay, so just work with your contacts. They're on tab 2 of your schedule, which we'll go over again later, and we'll get everyone seen that way. Okay. So, Jody, would you like anything to add to the enrollment team before we start on the benefits?
No, we are looking forward to having all of our associates seen, and we have had WebEx meetings and provided all the information regarding open enrollment. And we have had several questions, but we want to be able to provide the landing page so employees are well in advance prepared to meet with the enrollers. So that's the last piece that we need, but we are looking forward to hopefully having that 90%, if not 100% of our people.
Great.
We will definitely need to have the enrollers come to that front office and ask for someone from HR, whether it's Kayla, Kelly, or Jody, and they will receive a temporary badge so they can get directed to the correct location.
You know what, while we're on the subject, let me go ahead and pull up the schedule. So on tab 2 of the schedule has the addresses, but I will send you guys the contact information as well after the training here for the Hickory location in Overland Park. So again, you'll go to the front office there, you'll ask for one of the 3 HR personnel, they'll give you a pass. For Overland Park, what's the process there?
We will notify Cora Courtney is the person they need to ask for. The suite, there is no front desk there. There are glass doors on the 2nd level when they go into the building, but you have to, that's where they would just go in and ask for Cora.
And it's suite 220.
Sorry we didn't add that.
Suite 220. Okay, I'll add that and pass that on to them, to the team here. Suite 220. Okay, and have you all received the brochures from? Have you received brochures from Transamerica or Prudential?
Yes, we've got boxes upon boxes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep contact with Cora and make sure she's.
Yeah, we'll follow up with Cora and make sure she's ready for Monday morning.
Yes, Monday morning. So John's going to be going out there for Monday, and then we have kind of more enrollers than we would normally have just because of the time of the year. So John is doing the first 3 days there, and then Brenda's following up at the end to make sure that we can get everyone seen there. And then the other John and Debbie are starting first week at Hickory, and then we have John stays for the whole time at Hickory, and then Jeremy, who's actually a Benaware employee, will be joining the second week there. So I should also mention that Mary, who is, I don't believe is able to join us here today, Mary is also a Benaware employee, and she will be there Monday morning just to help get things kicked off. And unfortunately, I'm unable to attend myself, but Mary's going to be there just to make sure, help the enrollers get the brochures together and get online and so on. And then she'll hang around as long as she has to, but she's there at least the first day if she's needed. So for my team, we can talk about this offline as well. We want to get into the benefits and system here today. Meeting rooms, that's a good point. So the meeting rooms are indicated here as well. So it depends on the day, and this is Hickory I'm talking about. Overland Park, the meeting room is always going to be the guest office the whole time. But
that's correct.
For Hickory, it depends on the day. And there's 2 meeting rooms, and I believe there's separate buildings as well. Is that right, ladies?
Well, there's one. I do know that the second week, the enrollers are going to be in the same conference room, so that's easy.
Well, that's
but the first will be.
Yeah, that's true. So the second week, Jeremy and John, you'll be in just the Denali room alone together at a long conference table, and you'll work on both ends of that. And then so Monday, you're in 2 separate rooms, and then the rest of the first week, you're in 2 separate rooms, but instead of Denali, you're at Fuji. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but anyway.
And I have a question. Is the first meeting at 8 o'clock, or are they just arriving at 8? And when does the first meeting start?
No, we generally want to be at the locations half an hour early, because that gives us time to find you and to get to the office, to get the brochures opened and ready, and to get online and so on. So the first meeting starts at 8 a.m. That's the first employee.
Okay. All right, because we want to make sure that we're early and at the front door. One of us will be there, so we'll make sure that we're on point so they can get ready and get going.
Okay, great. All right. And then anything else logistically, where to park? Is there visitor parking, or don't park in the front or anything like that?
There is visitor parking right out front, and they can park there if they would like. Okay,
great. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started with the benefits. And what we have here is on the landing page at the moment is the 2019 benefits guide. We're still awaiting the 2020 guide, but we understand nothing has changed. So we're going to use this as a training tool today, and I'll get you the new one as soon as I can. As I go through this process, ladies, please stop me, jump in, correct me, whatever. I'm basically just going based on what's there. So if there's anything to add, or feel free to take over if you want to, but I'm just going to start it as a guide. All right. Okay, so.
That is our, that is last year's. You have both of them, right?
Have you gotten our 2020? You haven't gotten it yet. Okay.
No, we don't have the new one.
Do you want us to send it to you?
Sure. Email it to me now, and I'll pull it up.
Okay.
All right? You got that? Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right. And we'll go ahead and swap this one out on the landing page for the new one as well. But let me just start with this. Do I need to enroll? Yes, of course, everybody needs to enroll here. When can I enroll? And of course, we'll have the updated dates here. Who can I cover? Of course, we're talking about legal dependents here. What if things change? We all know that qualified life events happen throughout the course of the year, and they need to contact HR to prove that change, and then they'll be able to make the change. Okay, I saw something come in, so hold on a second. From Kayla. Let's see. It's pretty large. Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
That's it. 2020. All right. Welcome to the enrollment. Do I need to enroll? Yes. Who can enroll? 4th to the 15th. Who can I cover? Legal dependents. What if it changes? And then we go into the medical plan options. So this is the link to full slate. So employees have been able to make appointments online. That's what I was talking about earlier. Also need the appointments the night before. But essentially for the medical plans, we have a couple of options here. We have a PPO plan and an HSA. So PPO, very simple, cut and dry. The deductible per person and family, $1,500, $3,000. And then you see out of network, deductible is much higher, of course. Out-of-pocket maximums are indicated $4,500 and $9,000. And then doctor's visits, co-pays in network for the PPO plan, $25 for the primary, $50 for a specialist. And then some items are 20% co-insurance. The diagnostic testing, it looks like no charge in an office setting. All others 20% after deductible. So some doctors have an X-ray machine or even an MRI machine in their office, and that's what that's referring to. Inpatient hospital, 20% after deductible. So they meet the deductible first, they're responsible for 20% after that. Emergency room treatment or emergency treatment. So Teladoc is a $20 copay. That's where they can call a medical professional and get a diagnosis, and even they can send the prescription to the pharmacy. If they go to an urgent care, it's $50. If they go to the emergency room, $150. Let's see. So can somebody explain that? Yeah.
If I could interrupt here, the copay for the Teladoc
Yes.
is $45.
Oh.
But I just think it's important to let the employee know that what we've decided on is the employee only has to pay 20 and TI is going to pick up the other 25.
Oh, I see.
But for some reason, it's not in here.
Yep. Hey, Jody, this is Jenna. I just wanted to chime in here. Hey, so for the qualified high deductible plan, the reason why we have the $45 copay there is because with a qualified high deductible plan, you have to pass on the full cost of the actual visit, what's deemed to be, I guess, cost appropriate for the charge. So for that particular plan, we have to pass on the full $45 amount.
Right.
For the copay plan, we can charge the $20, if that makes sense. And that's just for compliance purposes. Did I hear that right, or did I address that one right?
Yeah, that's correct. I did talk with Larry. I hope he communicated to you and everyone else the other day, because I just made a decision the other day that we would pick up the $45 after they met their deductible.
Yes, yep, and so that is correct. So once they meet their deductible, it'll be covered at 100% coinsurance. That is right. Yeah, and that's a new benefit, guys, for Transportation Insight next year, the teledoc benefit. And so folks I'm thinking that the employees might have more questions there, and we've got some brochures, some handouts to help them better understand the benefit and what steps they need to do to enroll for services.
Okay, great. It is a good, I mean, we have it and I've used it more than once. So it's a good benefit to have. Can someone explain the emergency room situation here? So $150 copay, true ER.
I think that means like actual, like an emergency room visit, a real, like you're having a heart attack. Is that right? Or maybe I know better.
Yeah, and so I think this is just a provision that was put into place so that employees don't abuse the emergency room benefit and go there for like, you know, a sinus infection or a cold. So the $150 true emergency, and then a $350 copay, 20% after deductible if they go for something that's not, I guess, coded as an actual emergency. And that all has to do with behind the scenes and the ICD codes and diagnosis codes that are sent through by the provider. So it's more a penalty that's in place for people that are accessing emergency room care for things they really should be going to their primary care for.
Yeah.
Teledoc, urgent care.
That makes total sense. And then pharmacy out-of-pocket maximum here, $2,100 for the individual, $4,200 for the family. And then a description of the copays, $10 for generic, $25 for preferred brand names, which means that it's on the list of, it's in the formulary for the carrier. And then non-preferred means it's not on the list, it's not on the formulary, so it's a $50 copay. And then specialty drugs are 25%. Mail order, 90-day supply for essentially 2 copays for generics and preferreds, and then $70 for non-preferreds. And then the rates are displayed here down below. On the HSA plan, of course, higher deductible is going to be in play here. So $2,250 for the individual, $5,000 for the family. And then out-of-pocket maximums are more as well. There is a contribution. Transportation Insight is contributing $400 annually or $800 for the family coverage on the HSA plan. And you'll see this in the system. It's defaulted to the minimum already, and then they can add more if they want to. So that's pretty generous. And how HSAs work, as you guys all know, is that once you meet your deductible, you're paying everything out of pocket until you meet your deductible. And then once you do, then you have a co-insurance. In this case, 30%. For most items, again, the teledoc is still just a copay. 30% in network, 50% out, and the rates. So obviously the rates are less expensive for the HSA as well. Anything, ladies, to add before we move on from the medical?
No, great. So far, so good.
All right, great. And then here's a better definition of the HSA and how it works. We don't need to really go too far into that. There are contribution limits. You know, they can't exceed a certain amount, and it's described here. It's also capped in the system as well. Dental coverage. There we go. So one plan option, it's a $1,200 calendar year maximum, which is pretty high actually. There is a deductible that applies to basic or major services, but not to preventive services. Preventive services, no cost at all, no charge, no deductible. But when you get to basic and major services, there's co-insurance after your $50 deductible. It's $50 one time a year, $1,200 max. Orthodontia for children up to age 19, $1,000 lifetime maximum, and that's pretty typical. And then the rates. And out of network, very similar. Vision, again, one plan, in and out of network coverage, $10 copay for the eye exam, $25 copay for the lenses, and then you get an allowance for the frames. So it says 130 to 150 depending on the frame. Contact lenses instead of glasses, you can do that once every 12 months. And the frequencies are here. So one eye exam a year, every 12 months, lenses every 2 years, frames every 2 years, contact lenses every 12 months in lieu of glasses. That's pretty standard. Flexible spending accounts, so those that choose the PPO can contribute to the FSA because they can't get the HSA. They can't contribute to the HSA. So that's where they're setting aside pre-tax dollars for medical costs, just like the HSA. And there's a calculator in the system with the minimums and maximums already established. And then additional voluntary benefits here. There is, well, first of all.
I have one question, and I don't know if this is, Jenna, maybe you can help me out with this. They can have, like, if they have an HSA, they can have a dependent care HSA, dependent care FSA, correct?
Yes, yep, you're right. So the only thing that we have to be careful about here is with the medical FSA and HSA, but they can, anybody that is eligible for benefits can have the dependent care FSA if, if they have dependent care expenses. So that would be.
Scott, I think that's possible. Like, I was trying to mess with somebody. I just wanted to be sure I was right.
Yep, no, you're right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So dependent care FSA, of course, is for daycare in most cases, and most people that are using it are maxing it out. So that's a very good point. And I'm sure we'll see, but I'm sure that the system still allows enrollment in dependent care FSA if they choose the HSA plan. But we'll check. Okay, a few other things here. So basic life insurance. There's a company paid life insurance based on tenure. So the system shows you what it is automatically, but just for my enrollers' knowledge, here's what it is. You'll want to write this down. So less than 3 years, it's 40,000. 3 years to 5 years, it's 50,000. 5 years to 10 years, it's 75,000. And 10 years plus, or I guess 11th year plus, is 100,000. So that's a company paid life insurance. The system will show you the amount. So you don't need to really know that.
That should be, right, that's what I'm saying. There should be nothing for them to have to do.
No, there's nothing for the enroller to do except update a beneficiary.
Confirm.
Yeah, confirm it and then grab a beneficiary.
Okay.
All right, and then there's additional life insurance. Oh, there it is. There's the basic life, and here's the sup life that I was just going to go into. So for the employee, supplemental term, voluntary term life, supplemental term life. A new hire gets guarantee issue up to $200,000. The general rule is that, and the system calculates this for you, so you don't have to do it. So they get up to 7 times annual salary, not to exceed $500,000. That's how much they can purchase. If they're a new hire, they get $200,000 guarantee issue. If they are a late entrant, they're going to need evidence of insurability. We'll go into that. The system will notify you as well. If they have some coverage, they're able to increase up to $50,000 more coverage, guarantee issue. So you'll see in the system, there's a little slider bar, and if it stays green, your guarantee issue, and if it turns red, they have to fill out an evidence of insurability form. They can still get the coverage, they just have to be approved by the carrier. So for spouses, spouses are capped at 50% of the employee's election. The system stops them from exceeding that. $30,000 for a new employee, basically, adding spouse coverage gets $30,000 guarantee issue. So a late entrant or any increase for the spouse is going to need an EOI, and it'll tell you that. Children are $10,000 flat amount, and it's guarantee issue. And it also describes right here about the EOI process. Now, do we have paper EOIs on site?
I do. Yes, I have them.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Great, great. And at Overland Park, I guess we'll need to check.
And then we'll just have a bunch of copies made.
Yeah, in most cases, in most enrollments that we do, very few people elect coverages over the guarantee issue amounts anyway. But,
Right.
you know, it's nice to have a few on hand.
Do you want me to? I'll email them and then make copies, so just in case the call center needs them. Or
Yeah, could you email it to me, please? And I'll send it to the call center. And then if we can have a few copies at both locations, that'd be great.
okay. And that'll be for the life insurance and short-term disability.
Yes. Yep. That was next. And the system also notifies you guys if EOI is needed for short-term disability. So short-term disability is voluntary, meaning that they pay for it. It's the way we use it, it's a 7-7-14. So it's a 7-day elimination period and a 14-week benefit period after the elimination. 60% of salary up to $2,500 per week. The short-term disability, make a note of this, and the system is going to show as a biweekly benefit amount. Instead of, we normally display it as a weekly amount, it's going to be displayed as a biweekly amount because that's how the carrier pays. So again, we'll get into that later. But the short-term disability, it's guarantee issue if you're a new hire and you elect it. But if you didn't elect it, too late. You have to fill out the EOI, but they can still enroll in it. Long-term disability. So the benefit period on the short-term disability is 90 days. So the waiting period on the LTD is 90 days. And then the benefit period is up to age 65 or normal retirement age. 60% of salary up to $5,000 maximum. And this is a company paid benefit. Um, 401k is not something that we're enrolling. It's not in the system, but it's here for employees to get information on.
And they can be referred to Kelly Mitchell or someone on the HR team.
Okay, is this the time for making those enrollments or changes for 401k right now? Also?
They can make this, if they're eligible, they can make them, you know, I would just have them get in touch with me and I can see if they're eligible or not. But most people, if they're asking about it, they're eligible.
Okay. And then the voluntary benefits, we've got some high level information here: accident insurance, critical illness with cancer, hospital indemnity, and universal life. And I have more information on those here. There is an employee assistance program, an EAP, 24-hour assistance for all kinds of items as described here. And then contact information for all the carriers in case they need it. And then the customary disclosures and notices and so on in the back of the guide here. Several pages of this. So ladies, anything else to add about the benefits before we move on to the system then?
I don't think so. Do you guys have anything?
Okay. All right, so I just sent out the link and your logins, and what we have set up today is a test environment. Prior to Monday, we'll reset everybody back to scratch and take their actual elections. But the system is set up so that you can navigate around. And that, you know, you guys have used the system before. So we're using the administrative side of the system. Notice that it's red and it says admin site. Use your login information to access the system. Once you do, it's going to take you straight to the landing page or the, the dashboard. So the dashboard, yours look a little bit different because I'm actually a builder, so I can do other things that you can't. But it's very simple. There's a pie chart to show these are our test people that we've been working on so far. We've got the entire census loaded here. What we have loaded in the census, after a lot of work from the folks on this call, is all of the employee information. We have all of the spouse, the dependent information, and all of the current benefits listed as well. It's going to be very helpful for you as you're going through the enrollment process with the employee to show them this is what you're currently enrolled in, because the system's defaulted to everything they have today. So that's nice and easy. But for enrollment purposes, enrollment and employees, and then you use the search bar. So I'm just going to type in an A and pick someone who has A. Let's pick Sean. So if I click on the name, it gives me access to do some administrative functions, which we're not going to do today. So one thing to always check, make sure they have a salary in hours per week, but obviously they were given to us on the census, so they're there. The reason I say that is because these two elements drive the eligibility for the worksite products. So if they're not there, then they're not going to see those products and you'll be calling me. And that's the first thing I would ask you is, do they have a salary in hours per week in the system? So click on enroll. We're going to walk through the process now. So welcome to your benefit enrollment for plan year 2020. Everything's effective January 1st. Anything they have today stays in place until then. These are their new elections for next year. So these are actually hyperlinks. You can go straight to the product if you want to, but we've just hit next. So we have medical, dental, vision, basic life insurance, company paid, LTD, company paid, HSA if they choose that medical plan, FSA if they choose the PPO, dependent care, FSA if they choose either one, and then the voluntary products, the supplemental term life, voluntary short-term disability, and the fitness subsidy. So let's just stop here for a second. So the Transportation Insight provides a fitness subsidy of $15 a month to the employees if they're not at Hickory. If they're not at the Hickory location, they get a subsidy for fitness to go to a gym or whatever. If they are on site at Hickory,
they're offered, I'll help you. They're offered to all employees that are on the Hickory site.
Yeah.
We have a gym on site. So
Yes.
all the Hickory actual employees, they don't have a charge to go to our gym. But if they want their dependents to go to the gym, there are charges.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say. So if you see a Hickory employee, you'll see dependents, you'll see dependent fitness, I think is what it's called. And there's a charge for it. Yeah. It's either, I think it's $10 or $15, depending on the tier of spouse or family. And we might run into a Hickory employee here just to show you what that looks like. But there's a difference if they're at Hickory and if they're not. Okay, and that's what I was trying to explain.
So I have a quick caveat to that. There will be some people, and it's very rare, but there will be people that are traveling to Hickory next week that do work remote. But most of the time, you know, they're going to know, like, yes, I have they live in Texas. They're not going to want to have an on-site, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes. It'll be clear, but.
Okay. So they're going to look just like this employee if they live in Texas. They're going to have the fitness subsidy, and that's it. All right, we'll take a look at a Hickory employee just so I'm having a hard time spitting this out for some reason, but let's go next. So the next button, this is all demographic information provided on the census. If they need to change their address, please do so, because we'll pass that information back to the group. Emails have been provided here, which means that the employee will receive an email confirmation of their elections once you're finished with them. And required fields will not let you proceed without capturing them. There we go. Mobile phone. So we have to get a cell phone number.
Yep.
Because this will all get wiped out anyway, I can put in anything. So dependents for this person, Skylar was loaded here as a child. If I need to edit it, I can click on the pencil. If I need to add someone else, I can hit the plus sign there and add their information in. So this is very helpful to have ahead of time for the enrollment process, make it go quicker. Medical. So on the medical plan, the medical rates are driven on tobacco status. So has anyone in your family used any tobacco products in the past 12 months? I'm assuming that's immediate family. Does that mean covered members in your immediate family?
Yeah, that might be better verbiage.
Yeah.
I can email Christina and tell her that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was just like employee.
No, it's
or spouse.
If anyone's covered under your plan.
Okay.
Okay. We'll take that
Actually,
verbiage and update this. And let me stop there. So when you say tobacco products, so this is going to come up. What about the nicotine inhaler thingies, so vaporizers? Is that included?
You mean cigarettes?
Yes, those e-cigarettes.
Anything? Yeah.
Tobacco products.
Okay. So medical plan. This person is currently enrolled in the PPO. Of course, they have the option of changing to the HSA. We already know what tier they have as well. So if we're just keeping this, if they sit down with you and say, I want to keep everything the same, that's fine. You're currently enrolled in the PPO plan for employee and children, and hit enroll. If they want to make the change, they can do so. If they want to decline coverage, nice big buttons, they can do so. So whatever they want to do. But it does tell you what they're currently enrolled in. So we'll go ahead and let's take the HSA. Because I want to check that dependent care FSA. All right, dental plan. Again, there's only one. They're currently enrolled in it at the employee and children level. So keep it or waive. Again, these changes take effect January 1st. Vision plan, only one plan. They're currently enrolled in it. If they're like me, they probably have the vision plan, but they never use it. Basic life insurance. So this employee, we know that this employee has been there less than 3 years because they have the $40,000 benefit, but you don't need to know anything. You just click tell them that it's a company paid benefit. Thank you, TI, and hit next, and then it'll ask for a beneficiary. So the system pre-populates any dependents just for ease of use here. But if they don't want to put the child and they want to put a spouse or their mother or whoever, click the add button and type in somebody else. But just for ease of use, you can click the box there. Contingent is not a requirement. Long-term disability. So again, this is actually a monthly amount. So let's pause for a second. I told you before that the short-term disability would be displayed as a biweekly benefit amount. The long-term disability is always displayed as a monthly amount, unless the team here or Christina, can you tell me if this is different?
Hey, Scott?
Yes.
No, so what we've done is we can't display the benefit amount for the short-term disability as bi-weekly. So what we've done is put some verbiage on the short-term disability page that what the employee sees below is the weekly benefit, and then it says Prudential pays employees bi-weekly for their short-term disability.
I got you. Okay. And the LTD this is displayed monthly then, like it normally is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. And there's some verbiage here. 60% of your salary, employer paid benefit. HSA, because I chose the HSA account, I can choose the HSA plan. Now I didn't select employee only, I selected employee and children, is the $800. So I saw in the guide $400 for employee and $800 for family. So employee and children is also $800?
Yes.
Okay, just want to check. And we got some rounding things going on here. So the system is going to default to the contribution. So we have annual contribution as $800. So this is the annual amount, and this is the per pay period amount here. The maximum contribution total can not exceed $6,300, and then we have the per pay period match from the employer. So if I'm an employee and I know that I want to do, thank you TI for the $100, I want to do $1,500 total. I put that in and hit calculate, and it tells me the per pay period cost to me. So previously it doesn't cost me anything. I have $800 to start with, but based on 24 pay periods, I'm going to be contributing $2,917. And I either accept or decline. If I'm going to accept it, even if it has just the $800. So we'll just leave it. You must recalculate the total before continuing. Okay. Oh. I think we got a snafu. Christina, make a note to check that the annual contribution, it doesn't seem that I'm able to do put in an annual amount. I can only put in the per pay to get past that. Universal Life is displayed a little bit differently because these are individual policies. So you go into the individual and then make their elections. Tobacco user in the last year, yes or no? And then I got my rates displayed. So these are costs per pay period. All the costs in the system, everything is done per pay period. And you have a running tally here per pay period as well, including employer contribution. So let's just go ahead and elect that amount. We'll go into more benefit information. I sent you the actual proposals for this too. So we have some automatically included riders, and then you have the child term rider, which you can check off the box there and add if you want to. Beneficiary, it's going to default to who I chose last time just for ease of use, but you can do whatever you want. And that's it for that person's policy. I can start one for the child if I want to. So I can have a child term rider for $10,000 here, or I can select an actual policy for this child separately. Let's just go with the employee. See what the screens look like. You can get correspondence electronically. You can agree or not agree, it doesn't matter. I understand I have the right to designate a secondary addressee. That's what this is talking about. You can, if you say yes, you'll have to put in their information. So I'm just for sake of time, I'll say no. Oops. If you say no, you have to put in their information. So I'll say yes. Currently disabled. Any other life insurance? Any other existing policies? Are we trying to replace anything? No. And then yes to the I understand. The employee will be there that can read these questions.
Unless they're remote and they're on the phone.
Unless they're remote and on the phone, and we'll be reading them too. Yes. Reverse life, this is for the producer. Replacement. These are just carrier questions. You can't get around them. Of course, there's more on the life insurance than the other ones. So the accident plan, there's only one plan option here. You choose the tier or decline. Let's go ahead and roll. Beneficiary. default it to the same one, or I can change it. And then it moves straight over to critical illness. I have a few benefit options here, 10,000, 20,000, or 30,000. The green bar indicates everything is guarantee issue. Notice the rates change as I increase. And I can choose, I don't have a spouse loaded, so spouse is not an option. So I can go back and add the spouse. I can go to you and your family, dependents, and add the spouse. And I can't do family, so just do employee only. Hospital indemnity, you choose it or decline. Let's go ahead and enroll, see what it looks like. That's it. So supplemental term life insurance. This person does not currently have coverage, and I know that because if they have coverage, it would be displayed here, and this will be green, and it would let me increase $50,000 more and stay green. So it says that you're over the guarantee issue limit already, so I can apply, but I have to fill out that form and be approved by the carrier. But any amount of coverage I apply for, because I'm a late entrant, is going to require evidence. So if I click the slider, it gives me different costs, different benefit amounts, and so on. But the red tells me they need an EOI. Let's go ahead and do that too. Beneficiary. And then this is term life and AD&D for child. It's 45 cents for $10,000. I can apply or not. It's pulling up the child because I have a child loaded and it knows that. Oops. Notice that on the child that it defaults the employee as the beneficiary, but you do have to check the box. Here we go. Voluntary short-term disability. Here it is. So the voluntary short-term disability plan is based on 60% of your salary. If you wish to enroll, click next. The benefit amounts displayed are weekly benefit amount. Prudential pays its benefits in biweekly amounts. So it is a weekly benefit amount displayed. It is red because this person doesn't have it today. If they had it, it would be green. And red also indicates that they need evidence of insurability to enroll in this product.
Scott, I need to bring up that our employees presently have the Colonial product, and we're transitioning them over to Prudential.
Yes.
But a lot of people may not know that comparison, so I'm not sure what the enrollers need to know about information. I'm sure they'll have the product information in writing. But some of our employees say, okay, well, I've got this cancer coverage from Colonial, and we do have a form. If they say, well, I just want to keep it, we can make sure that, there are some forms that they can do that if they don't want the Prudential. I'm not sure how you guys want to handle that.
So we have a listing of the current insureds from the census that you gave us. So I've stripped out the Colonial participants and I gave that to the enrollers. So they know. They're going to check it with every person they sit with to see who's enrolled in the Colonial product to make sure that we offer these on payroll.
Okay.
We have, all that we have though is the name of the product, the tier, and the rate. We don't have, what the coverage was. We don't have that. All that we can speak to is what the new coverages available are.
And that's fine. I don't think you need to go to that level.
Okay.
But if they do want to keep that Colonial, they can see us in HR. I think that's something you guys, it's outside your scope. I don't think you guys have to do that.
Okay.
Because I have the form here.
Okay, that's good to know.
And we'll handle that. I'm gonna send this to Aubrey.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we had that conversation in case the enroller encounters that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And because I'm a non-Hickory employee, it shows up as a negative because it's a credit to the employee of $750 per pay period. This person's paid 24 times, so it's $15 a month. And of course, I'm going to take that.
I have a quick question, really fast.
Sure.
And the voluntary short term, is that in is that in monthly amounts or in biweekly amounts of how much they're paying?
So what's displaying here is a weekly benefit amount.
Right.
It does explain up here that the benefits are actually payable biweekly, but what is displayed weekly? Yes.
Sorry, it's me. If they're a monthly employee and they pay monthly, their rate is going to show as their monthly rate, but it's showing a weekly paid benefit. As I said, we did put the verbiage that Prudential pays it biweekly, and any employee who is biweekly paid, their benefit is actually going to be the 24 because there's only the 24 pay period.
Okay. I don't know why I'm thinking of it. Maybe I need to talk to Beth about it, but I'm currently enrolled in short term, and it's coming up as what I would pay for the month. So I don't know why
What
that's
you would pay for the month. Are you paid monthly though?
No, I'm paid biweekly.
Oh, well, that we have to look into then.
Yeah, I maybe need to get with Beth, or maybe Christina. I just don't know why that's. Maybe it definitely be something of our mistake, and we just have not charged properly ever. But mine is coming up as $18.97, and I pay per pay period like $9 something. So.
Okay, we can check into it. Well, first thing we'll check is the census to see how your pay frequency came over and go from there.
That's true. Okay. Now maybe something. It's right. Like if I paid monthly $18.98 or $18.97 would be correct, but I'm not.
It's not right because it should show per pay period. It should show your deduction per pay.
Okay.
No matter what your frequency is.
Okay.
Okay, sign and submit page. If you're satisfied with your elections, click next. If you want to make some changes, these are hyperlinks to go back. If you do go back to a product, it's going to tell you that it's locked and you need to click the unlock box to get back into it. If you get that. But since I've finished everything, every time I complete it, it's going to push me back to sign and submit. I just have to hit next here. For the trans application, you have to check the box signing for the employee, check the box signing for the enroller, if they elect it. This is a confirmation form that's going to be emailed to them, giving them a summary of everything that they elected with the total cost per pay period. And then we sign it with the PIN code, which you can just use your password, which I'm using here. Okay, and then this is just a summary of everything. All the way down. You don't really have to go through this. There is the completed confirmation form. You don't need to do anything. It's already being emailed to them. And it's also saved within their record. When I click return, it pushes me back out to the front where I have timed out and I have to go back in. And when I go back in, it shows me now that this employee, Sean, is complete.
Cool.
So,
it looks great. Yeah, it really does.
wonderful.
You guys made that happen. Thank you very much.
Well, not without a lot of your help, that is for sure. Thank you. So that's how to walk through the system. It looks like everything is kind of buttoned up. We definitely need to check on that rates item, Christina. And
Yes, I am now as we speak.
okay, thanks. So that really covers all of the benefits. It covers the system. We covered the training, or excuse me, the schedule, the enrollment schedule. You can talk to me offline about, I've sent you the worksite proposals. I've sent you the list of Colonial participants. You have the schedule. You've had it for weeks. We've already done all of your travel is already booked and done. So any questions, just come to me. And you all have my cell.
Hey, Scott, I have one quick question for Kelly. Kelly, you did send over on the census, $18.97 is what you pay per month, correct?
Yes.
I'm just going to change that right now in the system. So when you log in and go, make sure you reset yourself, but you'll see the correct amount according to what you currently have, and then you'll be able to make any changes.
Do you think that's going to happen for all people? Because it looks like Sean that we were just, or not Sean, I can't even think. It is Sean. Yeah, Sean asked. It looks high as well.
What I can do, Kelly, is I'm going to shoot you really fast a quick report of everybody who's currently enrolled in the short-term disability according to the census you gave us, and you can just check the numbers really quick to make sure we don't have a monthly amount rather than their semi-monthly if they're paid biweekly. Okay?
It is. I think, and maybe I need to get with Beth, but our plan is supposed to be 31 cents per hundred. I thought, maybe, I mean.
It's 31 cents per $10.
It's 31 cents per $10?
Mm-hmm. Of covered payroll.
That was confirmed.
And the workbook is 3 cents per 100. $3.10 per 100. Is that the same?
Yep. No, I updated it yesterday for you when she gave me the information.
Oh, I did. Oh. For short term?
Excuse me?
Yeah, that was the chill. That was something else. But for short term, isn't it 31 cents per $10?
Yes.
Okay, in the workbook that I'm looking at right now, it says $3.10 per 100. I might have put that, but I don't think so. But
So I updated it yesterday because it did originally say 31 cents per $100, and I just changed it to say $3.10 per $100 of covered payroll.
Is that the same? Is that the same calculation? I'm guessing. Sorry, me and decimals. It's the right calculation. All right, cool. I mean, I just don't want it to. I don't want because mine came over as will that be changed for everybody's?
Yeah, this will be for, because we just loaded what everybody currently had, but anybody going through the system, yeah, once they elect, it'll make sure everyone has the proper amount according to that 31 cents per $10, $3.10 per $100 of covered payroll.
Okay, so you were just, I was just confused because when I'm going through it, it says $18.97, but you said it was bi-weekly amount. But if they're already in the system, it's just going to go by like what they're paying now per month.
Well, here's the thing. Because we currently have you loaded, you were currently loaded with $18.97 for what you're paying currently. And that would be considered per pay period. I'm going to play around with yours and see if it corrects it automatically or if it continues with the $18. But either way, I'm going to change it on the back end, and I'm going to send you a quick census so you can take a look and make sure everybody we have currently loaded is accurate. It's awesome. Showing us either that semi-monthly or the monthly true cost. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Christine,
no problem. I want to make sure you knew.
You were going to send us some process or some steps for our employees to get to the landing page for them to find the brochures and information for Prudential and all that. Did that get sent so we can send that out to everybody tomorrow?
I am sending that over to you in just a few minutes here. Yesterday with all the calls, I didn't have time to review it and make sure I had no spelling errors and everything was there. So I'm going to get that to you.
Okay, great.
And now that we have the 2020 guide, we'll add that to the system as well, or to the page.
Good. Yeah, we've sent that to them, but it's good to have it out there anyway.
Is there anything else y'all need, like as far as paperwork that y'all need from us? I know, Scott, I'm sending you the EOIs. And sending you the, was there anything else other than the EOIs I needed to send to you?
No, that's all that we need.
And you've gotten all the accident insurance, all that stuff from Prudential.
Yes, we
Okay.
have all the proposals and brochures. Yes.
Great. All right. And we'll make sure with Courtney to make sure she's ready for John and Brenda, and
Great.
and make sure that she's got the boxes.
Nope, that's here.
Oh, that's here. John and Brenda are here.
Wait a minute. No.
Or
Maybe
John
I'm
is John and Brenda going to Overland Park? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. John, I can't remember his last name. Is it John B or John S?
John and Debbie are at Hickory week 1. John's there the whole time.
All right.
cool.
Cool.
John H is.
John H is going
Alright.
to Overland Park. You got it.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. All righty. I think we're good. I think we're good. And Christina, I just sent you some just like, I think they're pretty minor things. I don't know if you got it, but they don't have to be done right now. But just things that I
I'm
found.
already on Kelly, and I already sent them over to Luke.
Oh, perfect. They were. I haven't found anything else, so looking good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you all
Okay.
so much.
Well, thank you all so much for
Alright.
joining, and we look forward to a very successful enrollment.
We do too. We will look forward to that greatly. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.